If you're like me, you may have dozens of online accounts, a Facebook account, Twitter, LinkedIn, Gmail, YouTube, an account with your bank, an account with your company email. You have all these accounts online, and probably even some accounts you've forgotten about. You have all these accounts online, and you may be wondering, how do I prevent an attacker from getting into these accounts? And also, what can I do to figure out if one of those accounts has been compromised? In this video, we'll cover 3 quick tips to prevent your accounts from being hacked, and we'll also go over a bonus tip that will show you how to figure out if one of those accounts has already been compromised. I'm Christian Espinoza with Alpine Security. One of our goals is to bring clarity into cybersecurity. There's a lot of fog out there with cybersecurity, and we aim to clear the fog, empower you with this knowledge and the skills to make sure you can operate safely in cyberspace. So tip number 1 is to use a different password for every online account. And ideally, the password is 15 characters or more. I know you're thinking, there's no way I can remember, all these different passwords, especially if they're 15 characters or more. The reason you want to use a different password is if one account is compromised and the attacker gets that one password, if you use the same password in every system, now the attacker knows your password across all of your systems, and your username is typically your email address. So you want to make the attacker's life more difficult, so use a different password on every system. That's why we want to use a different password. The way to remember those passwords, which is tip 2, is to use a password manager. A password manager serves a couple functions. One is it remembers the passwords for you, and it stores them in a secure manner. The other function of a password manager is it can generate a password for you, so you don't have to remember your passwords. You don't have to type them in and try to come up with a new one every single time. You can just use the password manager. As an example, if I go to LinkedIn to log in, instead of remembering my password, I can use the password manager. I can bring it up in the browser, and I can tell it to automatically fill in my username and password. I don't even have to know what my LinkedIn password is anymore. So password managers are awesome for this purpose. A couple password managers out there that I'm familiar with are 1Password, Dashlane, LastPass. I currently use 1Password, and I recommend that one. The third tip is to use Two Factor Authentication, or TFA. A lot of websites like to abbreviate it as TFA. The idea is if I have multiple factors that require for me to authenticate, that if one factor is compromised, it doesn't matter. The oldest form of two-factor authentication is an ATM card. With an ATM card, to make a transaction, let's say to withdraw money from the bank, you had to have the card and you had to know the PIN. So it had to be something you have and something you know. The same concept applies with cybersecurity. Something you know is your password, or the password manager knows it. Something you have could be your cell phone. So the common methods to enable two-factor authentication are a text message to your phone or an authenticator app. Those are the 2 I recommend. So if your online account allows you to enable TFA, I recommend you enable that. So when you log in, it will also send you a text message with a code that you have to put into the website as well, or it will have the Google Authenticator app, for instance, which will have a code that you have to put in as well. The whole idea is if the attacker does steal your password, it doesn't matter because they won't have your cell phone. The bonus item I mentioned is to figure out if your accounts have already been compromised. To do this, you can go to a website called Have I Been Pwned, which is owned, spelled with a P. A long time ago, a hacker misspelled owned, O-W-N-E-D, put the P instead of an O, and it's kind of stuck. So Have I Been Pwned? You can go to that website, put in your email address, and it will tell you every breach that's public knowledge that your email address has been associated with. So you will find out which passwords of yours have been compromised if you know which passwords you used for those accounts. I hope you found this information useful and it can help you secure your online accounts. Take care.